Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live after a bit of delay. Sorry for that. Technical difficulties on my end. I apologize, of course. And still, of course, I haven't figured out how to have my camera on here, so we're going to have to live without that. But we will be able to see the face of our guest, which is most important, of course. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching, I appreciate you dearly. This is episode 1 of my new show called Fresh Faces of the SFLm. Just hoping to give these new faces here in the SFLm a chance for owners to get to know them, maybe talk about the league, some stuff that maybe they think the league could improve as a little bit, yada yada yada, that sort of stuff. Just some more content for the SFL. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And we can't have a first episode without our first guest. Please, my guest, introduce yourself if you would.
This is Nicky Barnes. I wanted to make my name the Big Stepper, but they wouldn't let me make it. So I had to switch it up a little bit. But yeah, Nicky Barnes. Right now, I play for the Birmingham Hellhounds. I got one game under my belt so far. Just made my second progression, and everything's going pretty good. Um, I tried to get a couple of my buddies to join the league, but for some reason they don't want to, kind of like spend a couple bucks to play. I'm like, dude, go on their website and just check out their website and just see how nice and put together it is. I mean, $3 a month really isn't that much. Um, but yeah, I'm originally from Staten Island, New York. I moved to New Jersey when I was about 7 years old. Uh, I lived in Rhode Island for about 10 years. I just moved back to New Jersey actually, um, like this week. So I was kind of going through like a big move coming back to New Jersey. So a little bit busy. Um, but yeah, I've been getting along with everyone in the league. Everyone in the league super nice, always helpful. Whenever I have a question or a message, anyone's willing to help me out. And just waiting for this next game to come up on Wednesday. Just put my other progression in. Hopefully, put in a couple more yards, get another W.
Hell yeah. Well, as someone who tries to do a good bit with the league, I'm very glad, especially in the minor league. The main league, which of course you haven't got to at least be in. Um, you know, I like to think I do a bit to try and make the experience enjoyable, and I'm glad that at least your first game you enjoyed it. And I was curious actually about that coming into this because I knew you and some other guys joining had been from other leagues. So I was really curious as to, and you mentioned how they didn't want to spend any money joining a new league. So what are some of are kind of the biggest differences between other leagues you've been in and this one?
Yeah, so for one definitely the website. That's a big thing because I'm in. This is the only football sim I'm in. I'm in two NHL sims and I'm in a basketball sim. But the main thing really is the website.
Yeah.
Because the website makes everything look a lot more legit instead of having to post on a channel and
Yeah.
having to go through a whole bunch of channels and this and that. And even the progressions, in some of the leagues, sometimes
Yep.
the owners are slack and they won't get the progressions in on time, and you'll have to wait for the progressions to like the next game when you're expecting it to be in that game. But every single time, at least, I mean, it's only been 2 weeks so far, but the progressions have been
Yeah.
right on time every single time. So,
Yeah.
and even when I had a couple questions about the progressions, they I had more help than I could have asked for.
Awesome. Super happy to hear that. And the SFL, the main league of the server, the main focus, of course, when you look at the league as a whole, right? Um, and you look at it just recently, last season actually. Um, last season actually was really the first season where Alex West, I'm sure you've heard the name or seen him around.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
that was his first season, was last season. Before that, it was the same commissioner as the SFL. So, him and myself, J.W. Harthorn, Ellie Diomas, a few volunteers have really tried to, Miles as well, have tried to get progressions in, get refunds when they can. But, it's still a little bit of a struggle. It's still a learning curve. And nothing's perfect yet. But I will say, as far as progressions go, especially when it comes to the major leagues, they are on it. Cam
Yeah.
is a wizard. You know what I mean? It's a big window.
Yeah, and
Uh,
even in the minors, right?
yeah.
The progressions are always right on point every time. And even I had a question today too because I was looking at my ledger. I'm like, damn, I
Mm-hmm.
only have 10,000. I only have 10,000 in my ledger. So I was asking a question like, I thought I was gonna have more than that, but they say that in the minors you get 10,000 in your ledger. Once you sub for the next month, that's when you'll get your extra 50, which
Yep.
I think is a great idea too.
Yeah.
Um, but like I was saying, sometimes in the other leagues, the progression sometimes they really, really they be slacking on it sometimes. So,
Yeah.
but this one, like yeah, only two progressions so far, but both of them have been, I can't say enough. They've been on point. And big shout out to Brady White because Brady White, I'm in another league with him. He's the one that actually invited me to
Oh wow. Okay.
the SFL. So
Gotcha. Well, heck yeah. Brady gets some brownie points in my book for that. Bringing another a good member of the community over is always
yeah,
great. Yeah, Brady's a good guy. I've got to know him quite a bit. I mean, I feel like I've called his name 1,000 times by now in San Jose. Um,
yeah,
but
he's
yeah,
killing it
man.
over there too.
Yeah, sure is. But yeah, man, I was super excited to that a new wave of people are really coming over from other sim leagues because me personally, this is the only sim league I've ever been in. So seeing the website, the community that we have here, and that's something, in my opinion, you don't fully get to experience until you're in the major leagues. But even down here, I feel like it's great. I feel like it's a tight knit community. Everyone's there for each other, like you mentioned. Everyone's willing to help when you need it. It's like a big old family. So it's hard to imagine a league where, like you mentioned, the website's not at your disposal with live stats every week.
Yeah.
Multiple shows, multiple media outlets producing for the league. It's interesting to think of an aspect where that's not a part of it.
And then another big thing that I really love about it is the commentating, man. The commentating that actually puts it overboard because at least the other sim leagues that I'm in, there's no commentating, and commentating just makes it. And even one of my buddies, last my first game when I was playing,
Mm-hmm.
he was watching the game with me, and he's like, "Dude, this commentating is sick. Like what?" Because he watches my NHL ones
Mm-hmm.
too, and there's no commentating, nothing. So he's like, "Dude, these people are actually commentating on the game." I'm like, "Yeah," and uh, and even as they're commentating too, like they're giving all like the lineups and like they know all the names and stuff like that. And
Yep.
just my buddy would be like, "Hey, damn, how are they commentating like this? Like they must be putting in some work. They must have like a lineup sheet, like they're up in the rafters actually calling the game.
Yeah, that means a lot. I'm a big part of the broadcasting group. If you watch most of the games around the minor leagues, you'll hear my voice, I'm sure. Um,
Hmm.
Last season I called a good handful of a good handful of games. And this season I've done my due diligence as well, calling a few. So you weren't able to get the name you wanted. What is your player name again? Just to
Um, like I said, I'm in a bunch of. I'm pretty sure it's Nicky Barnes
Nicky
or
Barnes.
Nico. Actually, no, it's Nico Jerry.
Nico
Actually, no,
Jerry.
it's no, 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 no. It's Big Stepper.
Is it?
They didn't
Okay.
let me put. They didn't let me put the Big Stepper, so they let me switch it to Big Stepper.
Okay. I see. Okay.
Yeah, my bad. I got confused too.
No,
I got
no. All
a
good.
couple other ones. So.
All good. So, and you said you're on Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham.
Okay. So I'm curious because me myself, looking back to last season in the minors, we only had four teams. We had the New York
Hmm.
Gargoyles, the Philadelphia Cougars, the San Jose Flight, and the Boston Rebels. The Boston Rebels don't exist anymore. In the offseason, we brought in 3 new teams, being the Anchorage Wolves, the Birmingham Hellhounds, and another one that's slipping my mind. The San Diego Aces. Goose is going to kill me for forgetting his team. But but I was curious, because you look at these teams that are in the minor leagues, and it's real people designing these logos, these uniforms, the stadiums, the
That's
fans, right?
I know that's another thing I was gonna point out too. Like the all the logo, even in the majors, man. Every
Mm-hmm.
single logo that I look at, I'm like, some of these logos are sick. Because like in the NHL sim, like you can only pick out of what they have on the game.
Right.
You can't actually go out and import like a logo or something like that, and just looking at the layout of each team's logo, even when you go on the website and you see it, it's that was the first thing that I thought too. Right
Mm-hmm.
when I joined, that I went on the website before I even played any games. I was looking at the logo. I'm like all the logos. And I'm like, damn, did they? Because also too, it's like 2K3 from 2003. Like, there's
Yeah.
no way they had these logos in this game. There's no way.
Yeah.
So seeing them, like I was like, I was pretty impressed. I was pretty impressed. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, man, we have some super talented people around this community. There's a good group of people that that are from all walks of life, from all different teams, all different types of people. Like they're like, hey, you need your uniforms done, go to this guy. You need a logo made, go to this guy. And that's another part of helping everybody. Like if you want to get a team going off the ground, you can get it done. There are resources at your disposal around the league to make logos, jerseys. Even the stadiums. Like if you have you got the chance to watch any major league games up to this point?
Yeah, when I first joined, I watched two of them
Mm-hmm.
right when I joined, and yeah, I definitely noticed the stadiums too.
Yeah, so
You know,
you'll see like giant statues outside of the stadium. Like
outside the stadium. Yeah,
Washington comes to mind, like 80-foot tall titans outside of the stadium. All this, so it's just it's a lot of talented people. Now I was curious about why you chose the position you chose, and if there was anyone you had in mind when you were making your build that you wanted to shape him around.
yeah. So originally, I wanted to make a tight end
Mm-hmm.
originally. Um, Build him like kind of like Gronkowski.
Yeah.
I would say somebody else, but I don't want to say his name. I even wanted to name my name his name, but they wouldn't. I don't. They didn't let me do that either. um, but I switched to wide receiver mainly because honestly, that's my favorite. That's my favorite position. I've never played football in my
Mm-hmm.
like like competitively in my life, but I've always watched it. I have a lot of buddies that play it. I know all the rules, everything like that. But always wide receiver has always been my favorite position. And I wanted to make him big. I wanted to make him like kind of like Megatron 2.0.
Heck yeah.
That's what I'm going for, like Calvin Johnson. That's the type of build that I'm going for.
And just a big O unit out there that's catching everything.
Big
I
road.
got you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you mentioned how you never played professionally. Me personally, that is one of my favorite things about the league. Right? You look at it from an outside point of view, and someone that's never played football growing up, someone who maybe never had the chance to, never had the capabilities to, whatever the case may have been. This is just an environment where you can hear your name called by a real broadcaster and see
Yes,
yourself score a
yes.
touchdown to win the game, and you're freaking out with your friends.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's just such a special experience that this league provides. That I think in my humble opinion, I think this is the best sim football league in the world. I don't I don't
Yeah,
think much else holds a candle. And
yeah,
Cam.
because I've been invited to, I mean, countless, just from being in other sim leagues, and like they advertise, and all the other sim leagues, you have like an advertisement for like you could post other leagues that you're in, sim leagues, and if
Yeah.
other people want to join or whatever. So even I get DMs all the time because I'm a GM in my NHL league, so I always get DMs. Yo, you want to join? You want to join this league? So I've seen, like, I would join it. I would go through it and look at it and I'd be like, no, this is not for me. This one's not for me.
Yeah.
But when Brady sent me the link, and I went on the website and I seen the website, and even he already had told me, like, yeah, it costs a little bit of money,
Yeah.
So even before he said that, like that wasn't gonna change my mind if I was
Mm-hmm.
gonna join or not. But as soon as I hit the website, um, I was like, I'm full game,
Yeah.
And I didn't even do just like a 1 month. I did a 3 month minor just because I know that I'm a super active I'm a super active user too, so I know I'll be here for 3 months, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And that's something I always think about as you know, um, as you look at the league from especially an outside point of view looking in, that's going to be your main deterrent, right? It may be, that apart with actually getting the league out there and finding people besides word of mouth. The payment, I understand, can seem crazy at first, but in my opinion, for what you're getting, and it's not like it's a crazy amount of money. It's not like you're dropping $50 a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like some people dropping like $80 to
Yeah.
play a video game.
Yeah.
Like what's $3 a month just to watch yourself play on a screen and with the commentators and everything. What's $3 a month? To
Yeah.
me, that's it's worth it to me, 100%, no doubt about it.
I'm glad to hear that. And you did mention that you're a GM in another league. Um, excuse me, a very active member, which is all terrific. And I will say, I myself am a general manager in the major league, and
Next,
there's owners down in the minor leagues, there's coaches, there's scouts, yada yada, and all those same positions, of course, are in the major leagues. So
Mhm.
you having
That's another
GM,
thing.
yeah, you
That's
having
another
GM
thing that I seen too.
experience,
When
yeah,
that was another thing that I was pretty impressed about too, is how every team has a defensive coordinator,
yep,
an offensive coordinator, a head coach, a GM. In like say like my NHL sim league, it's just a GM and a head coach, and that's it.
yeah,
So and also too, like a question that I had, like, when say like you get the defensive coordinator job,
mm,
do they actually go in and like put the strategies in for the defense, and the offense puts in the strategy for the offense? Is
yeah,
that how it
yeah.
works?
So,
Yeah.
and that's again one of the things I find so great about this league is like your coaches in the locker rooms every week they're making game plans. They don't just have the role there making it, it's books is what we do. We submit playbooks every week. You have to submit it by a certain margin, meet certain criteria.
Gotcha.
So every week people are submitting playbooks that they transfer into the game, and so like we'll select this playbook for this team. Let's say Hellhounds versus Cougars. We get sent this playbook from the coach at Birmingham and Philadelphia. We set them in the game, then they play. So it's actual real strategy, real playbooks in time that the coaches have built being put to use. Yes.
Yep. And another thing too, because after when I heard, like, that they sim on, like, it's 2K3, right? That's the name
Two
I'm
K
getting,
four,
right?
I believe.
2K4, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so I looked it up on Google. I was like 2K4, 2003. I was like 2003, what? But then I went and watched the sim. I'm like, this kind of doesn't even look like it was made in 2003,
Yeah. Yeah.
like the way that they catch the ball, the
Mm-hmm.
animation, stuff like that. Doesn't even seem like it doesn't seem like it's from 2003,
I'll tell you what. I am happy to hear you say that, and others around the league, I'm sure, will find it interesting because that is one of the things people seem to have a huge problem with is the animations. The AI play calling as well. They don't think that the computer makes the right decisions in certain spots, and of course, it's old AI that you can't necessarily fix now. But we're doing what we can with what we have, right?
Yeah, and not even that, not even that. You look at Madden 25, Madden
Yep.
26. They got the same AI
They're
problems
not doing it
basically.
any better.
They're not
Exactly.
doing it ain't that much of an improvement if it
No.
is even an improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and yeah, like I was saying, you being a GM in another league, I think if you if you make that known to people scouting you in the future would be huge because as a GM myself, knowing that a minor league player has GM experience in another league, is experienced in other leagues, is a huge point of emphasis as to why I would want them on my team.
Yeah.
Because, as a wise man in Arizona always says on his show, the off the field implications of a new prospect are more important than on the field skill.
On the field. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you
I
can
agree
come into
100%.
a locker room, and let's say you are the greatest social media person ever. You know, you're making masterful tweets and amazing videos to display your team schedules, your team game, whatever the case may be. You're a master scout. You're great at scouting other teams. Those off the field things are huge. And if you have
Yeah.
front office experience, that is a huge thing, I'll let you know.
Yeah. And that's pretty funny too, like how I said before that Brady was the one that
Yep.
invited me into the league. So our NHL sim, right? We just got into pros. We started in college.
Mhm.
Now we just went to pros, but they're still college. Brady and my team was Boston College. I was the GM for Boston College.
Mhm.
We won the national championship.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
But then now I moved up to the pros, and I was a GM in the pros. And you're not allowed to be in the GM. You're not allowed to be a GM in the pros and in college.
Mhm.
So Brady reached out to me. He's like, "I'm trying to be a GM. Like, do you think I could take the Boston College?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I could. I can even. I probably have like a solid 6 or 7 guys that I could help you recruit to get to your team. And there's also another 6 or 7 guys that aren't going to get drafted to the pro. So you're going to be set up with a pretty nice team. All you got to do is scout for maybe the other half of the team.
Mhm.
And even if you needed help doing that, I can help you do that as well. So when it comes to sim league, and also too as a person, man, I'm super competitive person. I
Yep.
hate losing.
Yep.
Hate losing. So
Yep.
um, that's why I like being a GM. Like if I'm in control, I know that I'm gonna put the best. I'm gonna put the best strategy. I'm gonna put the best team as I can on the field, and give our team the best chance to win every single game.
Yeah, absolutely. I love hearing that. You got that. You know the politics of sim leagues. You're a competitive guy, and that's what the league needs. We need
Yeah,
more people that get it. Right.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I also like
as
too. The chat is always, whether it's talking about the league or
yep.
just talking about regular stuff, shooting the shit or whatnot. Um, it's always kind of busy. Everyone's usually talking. It's never really any arguments.
Mhm.
Nothing that nobody can't handle really.
Yeah.
So, some other sim leagues sometimes it gets a little out of control.
Yeah. Absolutely. Every league has their problems, for sure. And this one's no different. There's always going to be drama, whether it be behind the scenes or otherwise.
Hmm.
That people, you know, and it depends on whether like you said, whether they can handle or not,
Yes.
whether they
Even
can
like
hang in
during the
there.
game, I love competitive. I hope the other team that we're playing against is just as competitive. And
Mm-hmm.
then after the game, whoever wins, it's just like anything. It's just like getting in a fight, like a hockey fight. After
Yep,
you lose, you get up, you shake the guy's hand, and move on to next week,
that's right.
whether you win or
Absolutely.
lose.
Yeah, absolutely. And
We will be perfect in every
And
aspect of the
also, I give
game.
a lot of hockey references only because that's what I played hockey my whole life.
oh,
So.
heck yeah, heck yeah,
That's why I give a lot of hockey references when I'm talking about other sports.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I understand that. And I'm curious. As someone who does have GM experience, um, as someone who knows sim leagues like this, is being a GM in this league something that interests you going forward?
Of course, of
Absolutely.
course,
Heck yeah.
of course, no doubt about it. Even a head coach, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, anything to help the squad. I'm always for it.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, off the field implication is a huge deal. And people hearing you say that is certainly going to be something that catches people's eyes for sure. And again, going back to you being in other leagues, this, that, do you have it? And it's I don't know if it's similar in other leagues. You of course have your locker room channels in here. You have your locker room channels. You have the general chat. Yada yada yada. Is there, as a former GM in other leagues and as a player, Is there certain things or certain aspirations you wish for when you look at a locker room presence in the pro league or minor league? Like, what are some things you expect,
So
want to see?
first camaraderie, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody should be on the same page, and maybe a couple guys maybe might get into it here and there, whatever. But that's why you got the head coach or the GM there to, hey guys, settle down.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing too, in the locker room is a good way to make sure that your whole team gets your progressions in. So in my other league where I'm a GM, I am I'm on everybody. I'm on top of everybody, making
Mm-hmm.
sure all 20 of my players get their progressions in
Yeah.
every single week on time, making sure 100% that they get their progressions in. And just because if you miss your progression, that's 1 week you're missing out on your player getting better. So
Gotcha.
it's a huge part of sim.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like you said, it's camaraderie is huge because that is one thing, and of course it's AI football. There's only so much that you can control when it comes to your players' play, but one thing you can always control is communication in the locker room and leadership. And as soon as cracks start forming between players, between coaching, I think that's really what causes crumbles. If you ask me.
Yeah, yeah, yep. And like in my other league, we started off 7-0. We just got our first loss. This past week we got our first loss, and I made sure to let everybody know in the locker room. Listen, because it was the first time that we played that team. We're gonna play that team plenty more times, and
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what strategies I did wrong. And I promise you guys, next time we're winning the game. Next time, don't worry. I know exactly what to switch up. So,
Mm-hmm.
because I legit do not miss a stream. I watch every single stream. I
Heck
do
yeah.
not miss it.
Yeah, I mean that's a good trait to have. Always being there, especially. I mean, especially in a live YouTube chat, you can see who's talking, you can see who's active, and that's a big
Yeah,
thing in the minor leagues. But whenever you're talking to your locker
We will
room,
be perfect
when it comes
in every
to
aspect of the game.
being, watching the game with your team, talking to them about things, that's really the only thing that matters. You don't care if other people know you're there. All you care about really is your team knowing you're there, because they
yeah.
see their leader watching the game live. They're like, okay, we'll fix that.
And
That's just yeah,
I know
that's just
life
gonna show
happens. I know
things
life happens
better.
too
Yeah.
sometimes. And some guys, they can't watch the stream that day. You can't, they miss it or whatever. I'm in the locker room. I'm giving updates.
Yeah.
This happened. This happened. This happened. This happened. Goal. This happened. This happened. So who's ever not in the stream watching the stream, they're still going to be able to at least go in the locker room and see what's going on in the game.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, top
And just like I
down
was telling you too
leadership for
before
sure.
we got on this live,
Yeah.
right? Right now I'm watching one of my streams right
Yep.
now. That's
Yep.
Ron.
Yeah. I mean, always being there. I mean, and especially in this, I'm not sure if it's something you guys do, but a big talking point in this league is simming. And when you talk about simming, you're talking about watching you implement the playbook you're wanting to use, and then you run a simulation of how the game looks on your screen. So we all have access, not all of us I should say. You can get access to 2K4 through your computer, so
hmm
you can run simulations of what the game is going to look like on your end.
See, I didn't. That's a good thing to know because I
Yeah.
honestly I did not know that. So that's a good thing to know, 100%.
Yeah, so
I'm pretty sure T2K the 2K4 that's on PS2 or
something like that. There's
yeah,
a
yeah. See, so
there's an
I don't have a
emulator.
PS2, so
Yeah.
that is awesome to know.
Yeah, so there's an emulator, uh, and to be frank with you, I have the emulator, but it is a process. There's
I
people
bet.
there's people around the league that would be able to help you much more than I could. If that's something that interests you, I'm sure you could ask around. Someone would be able to help you get that emulator set up. And
Awesome.
that's another part of why I think coaching is so important, because it's not just submitting a playbook that you think will work. You're putting in hours trying to put in a playbook, and then you can actually run the sim and see if it works. So if it works, you're like, yeah, heck yeah, keep it. If you get blown out
that's
0 to 80, you're like, no, throw it away. Get rid
Yep,
of
throw it away. Yep.
it. Yeah.
Try something new next week. Try something new next week.
We will
And
be
another thing too that I
perfect
always do,
in
like
every aspect of the
in
game.
my other leagues that I'm a GM in, like some of the guys, they they don't play hockey. Just
Hmm.
like some of us we don't play football. Some of them don't play hockey. So I'll get maybe 5, 6 guys on a team where they message me every week. Like, hey, what kind of progression you think I should put in?
Hmm.
And I'll give them maybe 2 or 3 options. You could do this one, you could do this one, or you could do that one. All 3 of them are going to work. It's up to you. You choose which one you want to do for your player.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think that's a huge thing about the league is, of course, in this league especially, because there are certain stats that, not everything needs to be 99. I mean, you get your stat up to 90, 91. What's 8 points of difference, right? To
Yeah.
spend, because I will say, once you get to the major leagues, stats get expensive.
I heard. I was just reading through
Yeah,
when I'm reading through the chat. I could I could tell.
yeah. It's
And I hear that, and then I go on my ledger and in the minors, and I'm looking, and I got $600,
yeah,
$1,300, and
and
some people saying like 50,000 or
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I go hop in my ledger and I want to upgrade speed and I have to take out a loan for a house, 250,000 just to upgrade my speed, and it's like, that's a great thing about the minor leagues now is you take advantage of it because people, it's a progression league. We want you to progress and be good once you go to the major leagues. There's been so much, yeah, pro halfback $700,000 for a point of speed, right? I mean, we want you to play. I mean, we want you to see the field when you go up to the major leagues. We don't want you to sit behind a pair of guys for 5 seasons and never see the field because at that point, what are you paying for, right?
Yeah, or not even that, but like you're not even be able to like watch your player sim really.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, that's always a big part of it for me,
We will
especially,
be
right?
perfect in every
Yeah.
aspect
And
of the game.
so, in that same aspect, as a fellow former GM, is there things you expect out of those GMs and owners and coaches and coordinators, stuff like that? Because in the minor leagues right now, we have a ping system. If I'm not mistaken, it's maybe Mondays or Sundays. I can't really remember. Miles will go through and see who hasn't progressed, and he'll ping you, right? Just to help those
Hmm.
guys out. Be like, hey, you need to get your progression in. That is not a
Yeah.
thing in the pro league. Your team and your front office members need to do it if you're behind. So that's
Yeah.
one thing that immediately comes to mind. I was curious if you had any others.
Well, as far as you're saying, like in my other sim league or in this one.
This one, yeah.
Yeah. So I've like I said, I've only been here for 2 progressions. I've seen I've seen the pings for people not I've seen the pings for people that hadn't done the progressions yet, and luckily that they got the ping
Hmm.
because they got it in there like the last second. So if that ping didn't happen,
Yeah,
they would have never gotten their progression in. So
yeah,
that's a super helpful thing for some of the players that sometimes, like I said before, life gets busy
yeah,
sometimes, but that's huge.
yeah, absolutely. And just staying on top of it. Uh, you know, making sure your players are on it because progressions. I mean, if you're not doing that, I mean, there's some people in the major leagues that have never missed a progression because if you look at it from a GM point of view, you do it once a week, and that is the only way your player gets better. I mean, what it takes 30 seconds, press a few buttons, and go ahead and send in the money,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So it's all that's really the biggest part of it is making sure that those go through. And I was curious. You mentioned how you've been on the website quite a bit. You'd watch previous sims, and we talked about the logos quite a bit. I was curious if, and this could be for other teams you're not on. Maybe let's stay away from Birmingham, although they do have some great branding in my opinion.
Mhm.
Is there any major league teams you saw, logos, uniforms, anything like that, or other SFLm teams that you're like, holy crap, those guys look clean. That's a dope logo.
Yeah, so I like the San Jose Aces, right?
Yep, San
The Aces,
Diego.
yeah.
Yep,
Or no, not San Diego. The San Jose Flight, right?
gotcha.
San Jose Flight. So yes, so San Jose Flight. I love San Jose Flight's
Mm-hmm.
logo. Also, too, I forget the name. I forget what team it was in the majors, but um, I forget which team it was, but it's my favorite logo. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's
What
just
did it look like?
um, it's like a not like a devil kind of,
Hmm.
or like some sort of some sort of creature.
Does it look like Bigfoot?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would be Minnesota if that is the case. They have some pretty cool branding over there. Oh, yeah, was it like a samurai looking little devil?
Yep,
Yep,
that's
That's
it.
Sin
That's it.
City. I'm
And
glad
actually, I've
someone else
seen.
is here.
And we had is that Las Vegas?
Yep, Sin City. Yep.
Yep. Okay, yeah. So, but I also remember when you brought up the Bigfoot one too. I remember the Bigfoot one too, and that was another one too that I was impressed with as well.
Yep, I got you. Yeah, man. Like I said, there's just so many creative people in this league. Like
I know.
Sin City, they only joined the league. They rebranded from another. Like, and there's so much history. Like, whenever you look at the SFLM, this is season 11. Second year in ownership, so it hasn't. It's not a too deep history. San Jose, you mentioned they won the championship last year,
Last year, yeah.
right? And you look at teams that are no longer in the major leagues, like Albuquerque Adams, the Lexington Miners, for example, the Pittsburgh Riverhogs. Those are teams that have now gone on to play in the majors. So it's a really nice process because if your logos are good enough, if you got a good enough organization, heck yeah, bring it up to the majors. And
Yeah.
you look
And
at
that and I'm not gonna lie, the Hellhounds logo is fire.
mhm.
Fire.
I like the. I know a lot of people hate on the purple, but I'm a Vikings fan. That purple,
Oh,
yeah, that purple
I
gets
like
me.
it too. I'm a Jets fan, unfortunately. I ain't got nothing to brag about
Nothing
over
going for you.
here.
I understand.
Got nothing to brag about over here.
Yeah, man. It's such a historic league because this is the 25th season of the SFL. We are currently in the 25th season. You go back to season 1, season 2 where there was barely anyone in the league, and seasons progress, more and more people join, and then COVID was really a turning point for this league because everyone's trapped inside.
Everyone, yep, everyone's
You
trapped.
need something to watch, and this league really exploded. And that was even before I joined. I've only been in the league for a pretty short time, but it really blew up at that point. And now there's so many faces that you like. There's other shows like we talked about that get run every week. You hear those guys' names, you're like, oh yeah, duh. I know them, and stuff like that. So it's such a historic league, and there's so much behind the teams. And like you said, Sin City's one of your favorite, brandings. They've only rebranded to that maybe 2 seasons ago, I believe. They were another team before that, and folded coaching staff and ownerships fold. Other people take over, bring in stuff they want to do. So it's like so much history that can really only be seen by looking at old broadcasts or what have you. And I was curious about you said you wanted a big bodied receiver, Calvin Johnson 2.0, right? Do you have any aspirations for what you want your player to do? Like, do you want this dude to lead the league in catches, like yards, touchdowns? What do you want to moss people every week? What's your
I
goal?
mean, just like Megatron did, man. I wanna, I wanna, I wanna get a Hail Mary and jump up over three people with one arm and grab it.
Just crazy
You know.
highlights. I got you.
Yep, crazy highlights. I mean, leading the league, leading the league in catches or yards. Like that's not a big deal to me.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we win the game, that's all I care about.
I
But
respect that.
like those highlight real catches. That's what I like.
I got you. Now, in that same sentiment, saying winning is the most important thing. I completely agree with you. Now, looking at it, the fact that you're in the minor leagues right now you are going to be on the field the majority of the time. And usually, how the SFLm works, at least now after the change in ownership, you need to be in the SFLm for 2 seasons, right? So this will be your first season, of course, and then you'll spend another season in the minor leagues. And there is quite a few players that are in the SFLM right now that are going to have to move on after this season. So that's only going to put you into a bigger role, right?
In a
Because
bigger
all
role,
of the
yeah.
good receivers are going to be going up to the majors, and not to say the worst receivers, but the ones that haven't got as much time to develop, they're just going to keep progressing, and then they're going to be even
Yeah.
bigger studs next season.
Yeah, because
So,
I even noticed on in the first game that I played,
mm-hmm,
I didn't get any receptions,
yep,
any, but I also have, two or three. I got a tight end and I got two
yep,
really good wide receivers. So
mm-hmm,
I wasn't really expecting that. But I was on the special teams. I had 105 returning yards or something like that.
heck yeah,
And honestly, me getting in the squad on a kick return up to the 35-40 yard line, I did my job.
yeah. Yeah, I love hearing that, and that leads into my next question. After the fact of you progressing for another season and going to the majors, and I think I know how you'll answer this just listening to how you talk, and you know, uh, is it a situation of, man, I want to go to a team where I'm going to play. I don't want to sit behind somebody, or you're coming in as a rookie, or would you be okay sitting behind a guy that's been in the season for a little bit and playing?
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course, of course, of course. Like I'm the type of player like as long as we're winning,
hmm,
just give me what job that I need to do, and I'll try to do my best.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, and like Ryan's saying in the chat, of course, thank you all for being here as well. Thank you for chats and subs. Hadn't got much of a time to say that. Uh, yeah, Ryan and Delro pointed it out really well. I mean, Sims, I will say, are very, very deceiving. That's something you'll learn, especially if you take a bigger role in the league. Um, the Sims are not always going to tell you the truth. Because I myself have been in VC. That's right. All hail the Sim gods, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. I'll be in the VC with my coaches, right, that are play for my squad. They'll be simming, and we're beating teams 45-0. We're whipping tail. Our striding tight end gets 11 catches, 4 touchdowns, and then we sim and we lose 35-0, and the tight end doesn't catch the ball once, right? So,
Like Sim be Simmons, Sim be
exactly,
Simmons.
exactly. I mean that, and if you understand that coming into the league, brother, you have a bright future. I will tell you
Yeah,
that, because
yeah.
teams and rookies will join teams, especially in the minor leagues. They're like, dude, what are we doing? We're running the ball 20 times. I didn't get a catch. You're like, you can't always control. You can do your best to try and put the pieces into the right spot for the right plays to get called, but at the end of the day, who knows if they're going to call 3 Hail Marys in a row, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And even when I was watching our first game, I seen like they kept running the other team. They kept running the ball. They're running the ball, and our defensive line kind of was the sim was simming a little bit because they were they,
Yeah.
they were they were giving it to us.
Mm-hmm.
After the first half, they were beating us by a little bit. But then, after the second half, our defensive line started coming up, especially Parsons, the third man.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was a monster. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, the sim be simming, man. Sometimes it's out of your control.
Yeah.
The only
And
thing you could do, the only thing you really do is just try to change up your strategies for
yeah.
next game. That's really it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, talking about stats like that, I mean, if I don't know if you'd had a chance to look, but on the website they do have live stats that tend to get upgraded regularly. If they're ever behind, full blame goes on me. I'm the guy. Uh, But, whenever they are upgraded, I usually put a message in chat. I'm like, hey, stats are all good. Go see what your players got. And, you mentioned in that, I remember doing stats, and Parsons, he was all over the place. And that was his first game. So I love seeing that from a rookie. Like, you go in, you're put on the field, and you just ball out, because I don't think there's a better way to be welcomed into the league.
I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you.
So now to change topic just a little bit, I'm curious. Of course, we did talk about how you've been a GM in another league. You get this. You understand it. Do you
Mhm.
think unless you think you can add some more to that, do you think that you have anything else that you specifically, skill wise, knowledge wise, anything like that, can bring to a team in the majors? This is like quote unquote a pitch. Like, hey, this is what I'm good at. You know, I got ball. I know what I'm doing. Like, is there anything like that you can think of?
Yeah, so I mean, just like my player build, my guy's gonna be able to jump high. My guy's gonna be pretty fast, um, and he's gonna be able to block too.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, throw me one long and high, and I'm expecting to go up and grab it. I don't care if there's two, three, four defenders. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care. I'm expecting my guy to go up and get it every not. I mean, I wouldn't say every single time
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's gonna be simple. But 75% of the time, I'm expecting to come down with that thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, anything off the field you can think of? Like, you think you'd be someone that could come in and maybe, like, do some social media stuff, or do you think you're a guy that could come in and scout previous games, learn tendencies of previous coaches, anything
Yeah,
like
so
that?
like I was saying, I watch a lot. I watch almost all the streams.
Yeah.
So scouting, easily scouting, I could do. Another thing too that I kind of wanted to do is or try to at least, is commentating.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was always big into like hearing the commentator, hearing commentators, and
Yeah.
them like them saying like certain like cliche, not cliche, but like certain slogans, that like,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, I haven't heard that one in a while,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and if you on my overlay on Twitch, a lot of people that are more involved with the SFL, the SFLm. We've got a whole work channel where we do the behind the scenes garbage of the league, yeah, all that boring crap that nobody wants to talk about.
Hmm.
One thing they always call me is the voice of the SFLm because, like I said, I call quite a bit, and that's something that I really take pride in myself because my main thing and why I think I love the league so much because, now as this league has progressed, I've went into another league that Cam runs called the UFL that's run on a newer engine, Madden. If you're on the Virtual Football Network YouTube page, I'm sure you've seen videos of it in the streams. The
I've
UFL,
seen it. Yep,
yeah.
yep,
So
I've seen it.
you know, I don't broadcast for that league. I broadcast for this league. And I think that just makes my love for it even greater because that's my passion in life. I'm a broadcaster. That's what I do. I love that stuff. And I never would have got that opportunity if I didn't join this league. I've been broadcasting for 8 months now, and I started doing it in this league. So, if that's something you want to do, after this, we'll talk. Me and Ellie Dioma set up the
Yep.
broadcasting schedules every week for games. If you want to hop on a game, we can certainly get you on a game.
Yep. And realistically, all I'd have to do is just learn the names really, which isn't is I don't think it's really that hard. Some of them might be a little bit hard to pronounce or not, but as far as just putting a number and a name
Yeah.
together, as long as you know what team is what you're watching.
Yeah, we got quite a few tips and tricks behind the scenes that'll help with
Hmm.
that.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good. That's good.
yeah, and so there's some other stuff that a lot of people, you look at initially, that doesn't happen in the minor leagues, that happens in the major leagues, that teams can always use more help in. One of them that comes to mind initially, like we mentioned, is scouting. Um, you know, watching, which obviously we talked about you'd be great at, watching games, learning tendencies. Another one that comes to mind is stats. So,
Yep.
in the minor leagues, it's less of that because we usually don't have live statisticians. But if you watch a live major league broadcast and you hear let's say I'm broadcasting, I'm like, holy crap, Type Attack has 212 passing yards. He's thrown 18 completions and only 4 incompletions. You're like, holy crap, how is this dude memorizing this? What's going on? Right? We'll have live statisticians keeping stats of the game. And we'll have a
As
Google
it's going
Doc,
up.
that keeps everything tracked. We have some wizards that design sheets like that every week. If you get into broadcasting, there's a huge sheet that blows my mind every time I look at it. But, it's become a requirement for the league that each team needs to do 12 stat games. It gets divided up into points. You get half a point for putting in one side of the ball stat. So let's say you hop in the broadcasting VC with me and whoever, right? You'll be doing offense, so you'll watch the game. You'll put who the pass was complete to, how many yards, where it stopped, yada, yada, yada. And so you have to do that 12 times as a team throughout the league, or you get a punishment and you get some payment deducted. I mean, it's just like fees,
Yeah.
right? So is that something you think you could do, like being live during a game, keeping stats like that?
100%. And it's not like in my other in my other sim league, it's not live stats like that, but
Mm-hmm.
after after every single, because I'm the GM,
Yeah.
after every single game, I have to input all of the stats for my team into a spreadsheet
Gotcha.
and then enter it onto the Discord channel to where it is.
Very nice. Yeah, so
So
that's right down
so,
your alley.
so then that stat sheet that it's usually Google Documents. So all you got to do is just click on it. The Google Documents will come right up, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll be able to see all your stats from
Heck
that
yeah.
game. What happened?
Well, I'll be honest, there's not a whole lot of negatives when it comes to your knowledge of this stuff. I mean,
I
this is,
appreciate it.
yeah, I mean,
And like I said, I still don't know all the ins and outs. I'm still asking a lot of questions
yep,
in chat and whatnot.
which is
Um,
great.
but I'm an athlete. I'm an athlete.
Yeah.
So as long as you tell me, usually you only need to tell me something one time,
Mm-hmm.
and I probably won't make a mistake. You won't have to tell me a second time.
Yeah, very nice. I mean, that's great to hear. I mean, because a lot of people in this league, they want to push their agenda and stuff like that, and a whole lot of people are just players in this league, which is completely fine. At the end of the day, that's what this league is. You're there to be a player. You want to have fun. You want to watch your player, truck people, make catches, yeah, whatever it may
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
But it's really the things off the field that are a huge positive. And I think that's Rodney Smith in the chat. This is Big Stepper, wide receiver out of Birmingham. I thought I changed the name to include your name. I probably messed that up too. But
Yeah, like I said, I messed it up actually because I told you my name from one of my other siblings.
no, no, that's all right. I believe we no, you're good, Rodney. Welcome in and thanks for joining us on this beautiful Saturday night. And you said you're up from the Northeast, right? I mean, I don't mean offense when I say this. You can definitely hear the accent. I
Yeah,
have
well,
family from up there.
yeah, so I'm from Staten Island in
Mm-hmm.
New York, but the past 10 years I've been actually more like 12 years I've been living in Rhode Island. I moved out there on a limb. I got a job at a
Nice.
cultivation, growing weed. So I was
Heck yeah.
doing that for like the past 12 years or whatever, and kind of just got old and bored of it, kind of. So my dad kind of had a job line, like a job opportunity for me down here.
Mm-hmm.
Plus being closer to my family because I didn't really, I didn't, I had friends up there obviously, but I didn't really
Yeah.
know anybody up there.
Yeah.
So just moving down here, being closer to my family, having the job opportunity lined up already. Um, it was a no brainer,
Yeah.
really.
I understand that. Yeah, man. I have my grandpa lives in Oceanside, New York. You know,
Nice.
I lived
Yeah.
there when I was a baby. You know,
Nice.
my
Nice.
mom grew up in Brooklyn. I mean,
That's where my parents are from.
heck yeah. I mean, small
Well,
world, dude.
my parents are from Brooklyn. And they migrated to Staten Island, and
Very nice.
I was born in Staten Island. And then, when I was like 7 years old, they ended up moving to New Jersey.
Hmm.
I lived in New Jersey from when I was 7, and I played competitive hockey too.
Heck yeah.
Um, I was playing hockey in Vermont for a little bit. I went to Utica College because I played Division III NCAA hockey.
Very
So
nice.
I lived up in Utica. I lived up in Utica for 4 years too.
Hmm.
Um, I also, after I graduated college, I lived in Michigan for 2 years because I was doing metal fabrication out there, doing welding and whatnot. So
Heck yeah, you've
I've
been all
done
over.
I've done a whole bunch of. Then I went. Then I moved from there. I went to Rhode Island and grew some weed. And I've
Heck yeah,
been,
man.
been doing so been doing so much shit.
Heck
Now
yeah.
now now I'm about to do some heavy operating on some like machinery using bobcats and excavators and
Very
stuff like
nice.
that because I already know how to use it. So
Yeah.
um, it's kind of a jack of all. What's the saying?
Jack of all trades, master. Hey, here, I got a good one for you. You're the knower of many and the master of none. How about that? What do you think?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
36.
36. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
36.
yeah, because you seem like you have a good head on your shoulders. You're a good guy to talk to. Good
Yeah.
conversation. Uh,
Appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely.
Likewise.
I appreciate that. And this is a league that, I mean, you look at it, right? I mean, it's online, and not many people, at least not many older people, are openly finding Discord servers unless they have knowledge of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, is that something that bothers you? Like me myself, I know I don't look it. I'm 21. I just turned 21 in June, despite
Hmm.
my that no one can see my awful head of hair I have up here beside you.
Don't worry, mine's not. Mine's not.
Heck yeah.
Mine's not too much better. So.
But you know, is that something that bothers you that there's younger people in the league, because
no,
there's
just no, just because like in the other sim leagues, there's especially on Discord, there's a lot of young people on
hmm
Discord, a lot of young people on Discord, but you still get your fair share amount of people our age, even I mean people my age, even people older than me.
hmm
So it doesn't really bother me,
yeah,
as long as they don't act like too
yeah,
childish,
for
it's
sure.
not too much of a hassle for me
Yeah,
or bothers me that much.
there's not too many in the league like that, and that's another thing why I love this league so much is I become friends with people that I would have. I mean, I live in Oklahoma. You're from the Northeast, living in Rhode Island. I mean, we would have never met outside of this league, right? Now we're sitting here having a
Yeah, no,
conversation,
probably
enjoying
not.
enjoying a night, talking in front of these people, trying to get your name out there, right? And I mean, I'm friends with people that are old enough to be my grandparents in the league that I'd say I'm good friends with. And it's just a great atmosphere, and people that are a little bit younger than me that are friends with these people as well. We have people from all walks of life, all different people. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Mexican. It doesn't matter if you don't got any legs. It doesn't matter if you're blind. You can enjoy yourself in this league, right? And you can do your part. You can broadcast. You can do stats. You can be an owner, a coach, a star quarterback. I mean, whatever you want.
Yeah. And even like I was saying, even if there is younger guys in the server, usually they get along
Yeah,
pretty well with me because I'm young at heart,
I
At heart
got you.
I'm
Heck
young,
yeah.
So like even in the other leagues, I get along with all of the young guys, and I'm talking some of the guys are 14,
Mm-hmm.
15,
Yeah.
16 years old, so um yeah, I never have a problem with that ever.
Heck yeah. Yeah,
And
man.
if they do not step out of line, but if they do act a little bit childish,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna be disrespectful about it, but I am gonna say,
You're like,
chill out a
hey,
little bit.
yeah. You're like, hey,
Chill out a
man.
little bit.
We're a team. This is a respectful league. You
Yeah,
know.
and even if it's a player on my team doing
Yeah.
it to a player on another team, I'm gonna go in his DM and say, hey man, just chill out, man.
Yeah.
You don't gotta go that far.
Yeah.
we're in a sim league here, you know.
Yeah, I love hearing that. Because it's not often that people are willing to go out of their way, and because it'll become a thing sometimes where someone's teammate on someone's team will do something, like let's say one of my players does something, and it's my teammate, I'm riding with him, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Some people are certainly like that, and no matter how offensive or how much of a dick the other person is being, it's hard to be their teammate and be on their side of things and not take the same point of view as them. So I think it's great to hear that you're open and you're like realistic about things. You're not going to be just like, oh, that's my teammate, whatever, right?
yeah, no, 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 never, never. Especially if I see that someone's you know, especially
Mm-hmm.
disrespecting, bullying, any of that stuff. I don't put up with any of that stuff. So, and I'm not gonna go about it in a disrespectful way, but you're definitely gonna hear from me. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I think that's a good trait to have. I really do. Um, Now, as someone that tends to be involved with the production of SFLm every week. If I'm not in a broadcast, I'm entering stats to the website. I'm involved, right? From everyone that does produce the show weekly, that is involved behind the scenes, and I know you said you haven't been in for long, so this would probably be a question, and I know I would get an answer from some people that have been in the SFLm longer. Is there any suggestions you could give as maybe as far as broadcasting goes, as far as production goes, channel wise, anything that you think we could do
Honestly,
better?
the only thing that could say is like on the website when you
Mm-hmm.
go down to SFL Minor and you click on that plus button.
Uh huh.
Sometimes you have a problem. I'm pretty sure a lot of guys probably have a problem. And also too, I have 5% left on my phone, so if it does disconnect, I got my laptop right here,
Yeah.
and we could just call back on,
Yeah.
and
No
I'm on.
worries.
All right. But yeah. Um, what was the question again?
No, just if you have any suggestions or tips on what
Yeah,
could be
so
done
like
better.
that little plus when you go to SFL Minor and you click
Yeah.
the plus, sometimes when it pops up to season 10, then you got to click and switch to
Yeah.
season 11.
I
So I
got
know,
you.
of course, there might be little kinks here and there in the website, but as far as like the actual Discord channel and the even the community involved too, I can't say anything bad about it. Say
Well,
nothing but good.
yeah, and I'll take the sentiment from a recent broadcast meeting I was a part of. If that is your biggest complaint, quote unquote complaint, then that makes me happy as a daisy because that means
Yeah.
things are going pretty good on our end.
Yep,
Um,
and on the website, like, because I navigate the website a lot,
yeah.
like just trying to get acquainted with it because I know
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be here for a while, so I still try to get acquainted with it. And that's really the only problem that I come across on the whole website.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right, man. Well, you mentioned your phone's getting low, and we have been on for a good while now. So
How long we been on for?
I'm not too sure. Maybe an hour, about an
Nice.
hour or so.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Heck yeah, brother! About just over an hour. And this video, I will attempt to put it on a YouTube page, and the link will go out somewhere. I'm sure, and hopefully, next episode, we'll have a camera for me. As much as people, I'm sure, totally just want to see my face plastered up for an hour. But but yeah, man. Go ahead and final question from me as we kind of close things out. This is just the you know final skadoosh.
Hmm.
What why to put it into a simple question, why you? Out of everyone in the minor leagues, you're a GM looking down at the minor leagues. Who do you want to pick up? Why Big Stepper, right?
Because Big Stepper will always be a team player. Big Stepper will never miss progression. Um, Big Stepper will always, if you have a question and he knows the answer, he'll give you the answer. If he doesn't know the answer, he'll put you in the right direction so where you can get the right answer. Um, And like I said, Megatron 2.0, man.
Heck yeah. Well, brother, I'm so happy to hear it. Again, this is my first episode of this. I appreciate you so much for coming on
Yeah,
here. I wanted to get
no problem.
someone relatively new in the league because there's a whole bunch of people I could have talked to. Brady being one of them.
Hmm.
Brady
Well,
is someone
I
I'm gonna have
appreciate
on
you
here at
having
some
me.
point.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah,
I was kind
absolutely.
of excited to do it too. I know we were supposed to do it a little bit earlier,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I was a little bit busy with my move and
Yeah, no
whatnot. So
worries, no worries. It happened. That's all I'm happy to say. And I wanted someone not as out there to be my first guest, just because everyone knows Brady, everyone knows
yeah,
Jesse. There's people that are
I
active.
think people are starting to know me a little bit more just because
Hey,
I'm in the chat a lot.
if that's the case, brother, you're doing exactly what you should be as a GM. If people know you, that's all you can ask for. I mean, that's the biggest thing. If they know your name, you're doing something right. Um,
Yes.
and everybody, thank you so much for coming in and watching live. And anyone who does go back and watch, I appreciate it so very much. Thank you for everyone who followed. There's going to be another episode of this eventually with a new guest. And if you're a minor league player that's watching this, shoot me a message. I would love to have you on. Maybe we have multiple guests. If I can't ever figure out my face cam, we
We
have
will be
two
perfect
guests on
in
there.
every aspect of the game.
Multiple guests, whatever the case may be. I just I want to get more of y'all's names out there, dude. I want more content for the SFLm because right now we don't have any of it besides written posts by Ellie, which are fantastic. Don't get me wrong. If you haven't read them, you should.
I read a couple. Yes, we
But
good.
but more shows, dude. I mean, and that's what I'm here for. Like I said, everybody, thank you so much for watching. This has been episode 1 of Fresh Faces. I'm DJ Kilgannon, of course, the big stepper with me this time, ladies and
Thanks for
gentlemen.
having me.
Absolutely. Y'all all have a great night. Thank you for being here.
Have a great night.